Thank you. Good evening. My name is Charles Schuler. I'm with SFO, San Francisco International Airport. Apparently this evening I'm representing the 15% of government employees. So SFO, if you don't know, is an enterprise division of the city and county of San Francisco. And that puts us in a unique perspective. And so we operate like a business within the, I was going to say constraints, but we'll say the context of government. And opportunity, yes, thank you. I wish I had a prize, I'd give it to you, but that would be a gift of public funds. I also am probably the only person up here with a piece of paper. Government, we like our forms. Weird. So it's not a comedy hour. So let me tell you why I'm up here. So there is actually a hunger in government to kind of get innovative ideas out there. And at SFO, our mission statement is to be an exceptional airport in service to our communities. And that means all of our communities. And when Mayor Lee created the Entrepreneur in Residency program, our airport director, John Martin, jumped at the opportunity. He's like, this is an amazing opportunity to reach out to the tech community, our bread and butter, our guests, our customers. You know, the people coming through SFO aren't only early adopters, they're you guys. They make the stuff, right? And so this is really an opportunity to reach out to the community and provide a service to an underserviced community, the blind and visually impaired. And so we partnered with Indoo.rs through the EIR program for 16 weeks, which 16 weeks, you know, is a very long hackathon, right? So you can get a lot done in 16 weeks. It's not so long when you're dealing with government and acquisition and process. And we actually managed to create an amazing beta product to create an indoor navigation experience using iOS navigation interface, the adaptability function, to help visually impaired navigate through SFO. Ooh, 3-minute warning. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jonathan, who's representing Indoo.rs, to talk about his experience from the developer's perspective.
Thanks a lot, Charles. So I'm from Indoo.rs. I'm Jonathan. Indoo.rs was really excited to get chosen by SFO to do this work. And though Indoo.rs is really great at indoor navigation, for about 4 years we've been doing what Google Maps can't do, which is tell you where to go inside with accuracies of like down to a meter or two. But we didn't have so much strength in working with visually impaired travelers. This was a new experience for us. So we reached out, like you want to do. So we worked with a company called Lighthouse for the Blind, which is a fantastic company, by the way, organization rather. And they really helped us from soup to nuts on how to understand what it's like to be in the mindset of someone who can't see or can see very little. And that was our first thing. So if you see this slide, you get a sense of what we all deal with when we go to the airport. It's a changing dynamic structure of data. It's hard to keep up with. The gates will change, the terminals will change. And so it's hard enough for me to get to my gate. So the question is, how do you relate with the airport situation or the travel situation if you can't see? So this is a really underserved community, as Charles mentioned. So we really put our heads to the grindstone, our nose to the grindstone. Anyway, in 16 weeks, the Indoo.rs engineer team just did some amazing things. We made some assumptions, and we had to make some assumptions around accessibility and other things, and then put them to the test with user testing with Lighthouse for the Blind. And so the technology behind this is nothing other than a sort of a blend of radio signals from Bluetooth low energy devices called iBeacons. A lot of people know what those are. Attached to the pillars throughout Terminal 2 at SFO, and it's really cool. If you go there now, you can actually see them up. They're very elegantly placed. And further than that, if all you use were to say Bluetooth or ambient Wi-Fi, that probably wouldn't be enough to give you an accurate read on where you are. You also need onboard devices like accelerometer, gyroscope, compass to give you a really strong sense of exactly where you are, because this is not the kind of application where you want to be 10 meters off. It really isn't. So that was the technology. So let's take a look at one of the map views from the app itself. There's a bunch of different use cases that was really important to address, and each one was completely different. So check-in. Check-in's really complicated. You walk into the United terminal, say, and there's this massive row, multiple doors of check-in desks. And I, as a seeing passenger or traveler, often don't know which to go to. So I'm gonna let everyone here come up with their own use cases of why navigation becomes really essential when you want to know which desk to go to and why. Are you domestic, international, and so on. Then security is a slightly different use case. You're funneling through one point, but there are security announcements that you see in signs. You see a lot, we make a lot of assumptions about what we can see. And some of them are related to, you know, if there's a warning sign that you really need to make sure your laptop comes out of the bag and otherwise, well, this is a great platform on which to build that. As the visually impaired traveler moves towards the security line, it could be asked to remove their items. So there's a couple assumptions we make that I just wanted to share with you really quickly that turned out to be completely not right. And this was cool. This was actually what we wanted to see. And one of the assumptions we made was step-by-step wayfinding is the way to go. So we said, okay, to get to gate 56A, you will take, I'm going to skip forward to the gate. So to get to 56A, you have to go 10 feet forward and then take a left and then go 15 feet forward. And turns out that doesn't really work, because what is 10 feet really? So what we found with the testers was they really wanted to see where something was relative to them and how far. So it might be like 10 o'clock, 60 feet is gate 56A. And let them make the micro adjustments about how they move through the aisleway, how they interact with other passengers, and so on. And that was really exciting. Another one was we thought, oh, you want to use your voice, right? So you want to be able to say, take me to 56A. Turns out voice input was not important. So we're like, wow, we're learning a lot here. What instead, if anyone wants to turn on their accessibility on their phone, I encourage you to try it. It's really neat, actually. But you can go through lists and you can scroll through you hear voice input, and then you can say yes or no, but you scroll through. So finally, Lighthouse for the Blind, just to call out to them, they were so helpful. I think they also see the capabilities for something like indoor wayfinding that's currently in play at SFO to be really used at airports around the world and for travelers around the world. And so there's an estimate that 6 million travelers, that's a sort of a thrown out number, but there's a lot of people who could be impacted. This is sort of just the beginning. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to SFO for hatching this bold plan. And I think Indoo.rs feels really excited about that we were able to execute on it in a way that's pretty exciting. So, thank you.